So many of us leave home with big dreams. For me, it was leaving my kids in Jamaica, hoping to build a better future for them. But along the way, I learned some crucial lessons through experience that no one tells you before you migrate. So today I want to share with you 6 crucial need to know facts before you make that step. So, are you planning to migrate? Stay with me while you get first look at these lessons that no one tells. The first thing that no one tells you is how heavy the emotional weight is. A lot of times, us as Jamaicans, we don't talk about feelings, emotions, right? So no one tells you how hard it is to say goodbye, how heavy the weight of missing out, losing out on these things that you grew up with, you knew. You have to start over from scratch. No one tells you how hard it is to say goodbye to your home, to your family, to your friends, to your community, to your culture, to the food. No one tells you about that. A matter of fact, once the excitement fades and reality sets in, it's tough. No one tells you that once you get used to the flashy looking idea of what foreign is, all you will spend your time doing is wishing that you were home. The second thing that no one tells you about is how hard it is to start over. And this is a big one. So I want you to listen keenly. When you move, when you migrate to a new country, you are starting over from scratch. A lot of people leave their profession where they are valued, respected, and have what we might call status. When you move to a new country, that is no more. It is null and void. Nobody sees you, nobody knows you, nobody cares. You become a nobody. Matter of fact, you will have to start proving yourself again. It is so frustrating, but it's also very humbling because now you'll have to start over from scratch and prove yourself all over again. Imagine being a driver in your country for how many years of your license and good. And when you move to a new country, guess what? You're going to have to do the test again from scratch. Start all over. Do the test and I'll fail it. I'm not going to call any name. You do the test, you fail it, and you wonder, but I'm a driver. So these are the things that no one can really prepare you for. You learn from experience. The third and most important thing that I want to share with you that you need to know is that you have to have faith in God. And I'm not just talking about any dibby faith, as they would say. You have to be really and truly connected to God. For me personally, this is where I found my true connection with Christ. Having moved to a new country and being on my own. Right? So, quick story. 8 years ago, I visited the United States. I visited a relative. And when I met up with the person, I realized the person was smoking. So I said to the person, "Are you still smoking?" And the person was like, "Listen, you cannot live in this country and not smoke, drink, or something." At the time, I just like laughed it off. I was like, "You're probably just finding an excuse for what you're doing," but I just brushed it off. Now, 8 years later, I have come to appreciate her point of view, having lived certain realities. Thanks be to God, I have faith in Him and I know Him, where I can trust in Him and rely on Him to help me. But there are other people who sadly rely on other stuff like drugs and become addicts while traversing this battlefield of living in this country, in another country, far away from your friends, your family, and being so isolated. It is a huge place with a lot of people, but it's the most lonely time that you will experience in your life. So again, these are things that no one tells you. Another thing I wish I knew before I migrated is the cost of migrating. No, I'm not just talking about the plane ticket. That's not even the start of it. That's not even the beginning. I'm talking about the emotional costs. No one tells you how hard it feels to not be around your family. When you're in Jamaica, you have this sense of freedom that it's it's unparalleled to nothing else that you will experience nowhere else in the world. You cannot find that freedom, that freeing feeling that you get when you're home. And as a Jamaican, I can speak to this clearly, and a lot of people have said this to me and can relate. You don't find that freedom nowhere else in the world. Big up to my country, Jamaica. Right? So no one tell you the cost, emotional cost. You miss out on so many things. You miss out on family gatherings, birthdays, graduations. For me personally, I missed out on a lot of things for my kids growing up. And you know, it's a lot of cost emotionally. You cry, you bawl, you laugh, you pray every day. You say you're going home, you're going home, you're going home. Every time something happens, you're like, I'm going home, right? No one tells you about that cost. And then the other thing, it is very expensive to live in this place, right? Exchange rate might be good. I don't know if anyone compare costs like me. In my head, it's constant calculation of how much is this in Jamaican dollars. No, I don't do it as much, but you constantly compare costs and you wonder if this thing is worth it. And another thing that I realized, that we live in what is called a buying culture. People just buy, 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 buy. Nobody try to save or improvise or make things. It's all about buying. So if you're not careful, if you don't know how to budget yourself and how to work with your money, you might end up homeless. Another part of the expense comes with sending money back home while trying to survive in a country where the bills never stop coming. The fifth thing that no one tells you, and this is one that I personally struggle with, is that you have to be adaptable. Not just adaptable, but easily adaptable. You have to be open to change. Back in the days when I met someone new, I always introduced myself as being down to earth and open minded. Now, let me tell you, migration has taught me the real definition of being open minded. Now, everything changes, nothing is stable, everything is very unstable, from the weather to your job to people. Things change and things change quickly. All right, today you have a house, tomorrow you're homeless. Today you have a job, tomorrow you're jobless. People's minds change. You understand? So you just have to be able to adapt to these changes, and very quickly. And it's a fast-paced environment, and coming from a third world country, yes, you're used to certain things, but it's just different with how fast things move and how unstable things are. There's no guarantee with anything, and you just have to have an open mind and be ready to adapt, and adapt quickly and make changes quickly. No one is loyal. Loyalty is scarce, probably even extinct. People just do what they want to do and move on, and you have to learn to adapt and move on just as quickly as well. Finally, and very important, here's the part that no one can prepare you for. You will develop a resilience you never knew you had in you. You will learn to pray harder, work smarter, and push through. No matter how many stories you are told, no matter how much you are encouraged and warned, until you have lived certain realities, you will not understand the sacrifices that are required to push through. You will lose hope, but through it all, remind yourself this sacrifice is for a better tomorrow. Migration is not easy. It's not just about moving. You carry joy and heartbreak in the same suitcase. If you are on this journey, just know that you are not alone. Trust in God and remember that every single sacrifice is shaping something for a greater tomorrow. Let me know in the comments the things you wish you knew before you migrated. Don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, this is Life In with Lisa.